And welcome live to the LV Home Experts Radio Show, where we talk about real estate and financing. So today, you guys probably already heard, Jerome Powell had raised the rates 0.75. That is pretty crazy. So today we're going to talk about how the Feds raise rates, how that is going to impact the Las Vegas housing market, and where are we going to be heading in the future. That's right. So today we got a very special guest, my right-hand man, Joey. What's going on, Joey?
What's going on, guys?
It's been a while since we had you on the show here, dude.
I know, it's been a minute.
I know.
Feels good to be back.
I know. So the reason why I wanted to bring you back on the show is because you're constantly out in the field. Mm-hmm. You know, you got a pulse of what's going on in the housing market. So I want to talk about what's going on with the housing market, with the Feds, you know, with the rates, what you're seeing with the buyers. Also, I want to get with Dan. You guys already know Dan French with Guarantee Rate. Dan, why don't you sit up a little bit more, man, so we can get you on camera there.
Oh, you can't see my head?
No, I can't. There you go.
It's big and round.
I mean, you're a good-looking dude, man. Sit straight up. There you go. Maybe it's just the camera. That's what it is.
Always makes you look fatter.
No. You kind of look a little bit short. I might have to drop that camera down a little bit. Or you may have to sit up a little bit. Can you just sit up a little bit, please? Because I want to make sure we get a good... There you go.
There he is.
I mean, you're a good-looking dude, man. Act like it. Anyway, if you guys don't know who Dan is a lender out here in Las Vegas, Nevada with Guarantee Rate. So if you guys need any financing or refinancing on your home, which is unfortunately, you're probably not going to refinance in today's market, right, guys?
Nope.
Oh, no. What's a refi?
When was the last time you even did a refinance?
I don't know. It's not even in the meetings anymore.
Oh, really?
They just say survive. That's the memo every morning. Is,
yeah.
All right, figure out how you're going to survive in this crazy market.
Yeah.
You're done.
So today, the Feds obviously...
Super optimistic.
Yeah, right.
So today, the Feds obviously they came out and raised rates, which is unbelievable. They were talking about 1/4 of a point, but inflation is running so high, and the only way to slow down inflation is by suppressing the market, right? By increasing rates, so that way people don't just go out there and spend more and more money, which is causing inflation. But I mean, 7 basis points, I mean, that's pretty high, don't you think?
I mean, that's not slowing the market. That's like screeching it to a halt.
Yeah, I think they're forced to do it, right? Wouldn't you agree, Dan, at this point?
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely. I mean, they got no other shot.
Yeah. So,
but let me ask you this, Ivan, where would it stop? You know, because they said 25, then they said 50, and then they surprised everybody by saying 3/4 of a basis point.
Well, they have to, because according to core CPI, it's about 8.35%, and they want to drop it down to about a 2% inflation rate, right, every year. But the only way to really slow that down is you got to shock the market at this point. There's just no way around it. However, me and Dan, we talked about this years ago where you can keep printing money, right? But the problem is that sooner or later, the music has to stop. And that's what's taking place now. But now, the housing market, it's really impacting the Las Vegas housing market. Like, I'm not saying it literally just came down to like a hoach and like, it didn't just like stop, like everybody put the brakes on. I mean, it's coming down pretty fast because I see listings now. There's a lot of price reductions. But however, if the home is priced correctly in today's market, you're still getting multiple offers. It's such like a strange market. Yeah. I mean, everybody now is just kind of like a little scared. Like, I don't know what to do.
Yeah, well, being scared too is gonna paralyze you. Then you're gonna be subject to 6.5%, 7% interest rate. So it's like, what do you do, right?
It's true.
I mean, everybody needs a home. When we talk about this on the show all the time, people still have lives. They still need to move. They're in transition. They need to find a home. And I think right now, even though the rates are going up and everybody was pretty shocked at what the Fed did, because we still haven't really felt the ripple effect from the last rate hike, right? So, but we're going to see a lot of opportunity, which we're already starting to see, especially with the new home builders. Yeah. I've seen tremendous amount of opportunity out there as far as price reductions, incentives, closing cost incentives. I mean, all of our counterparts out there that work for these home builders are sending me standing inventory every single day.
Isn't it funny how the tides have turned?
I love it.
With the builders?
I love it. I love it.
The only reason why I'm saying this, guys, is because it came to a point where builders were not paying real estate agents pretty much anything. At this point, they're just giving away the properties, which is great.
Some of them, I mean, I've seen some that have been fallouts, have been cancels, and the home builders are reducing the prices between $40,000 and $60,000 and offering $10,000 closing costs on top of that.
Okay, so
and then they're paying a 4% commission. They're like, just take the home.
Now you mentioned fallout.
Yeah.
Why are these deals falling out?
Well, because you have these people that are going into contract, let's call it 6 months ago, when they could have, get pre-approved for an interest rate that's around, 2.99, 3.125, and everything is great. Their DTI is perfect. And then 60 days prior to closing, you can lock your rate. Yeah. And the crazy thing is, like, the home builders, like, they didn't see this coming. Because they knew it was coming. They didn't really start offering these extended rate locks until recently. Yeah. So they're like, oh, anything we can do to sell a home, now we're going to offer you up to like 360-day rate lock, extended rate lock, so we're going to pay for half of it. Yeah. Like, they could have been doing this a long time ago. However, 60 days out, you can lock in your rate. So when you're trying to lock in a rate from 2.99, all of a sudden it's, between 5 and 6%, your payment's doubling. You can't afford it. And people are walking away. So now builders have standing inventory.
Wow, and people are willing to walk away for like 10 grand. That's a lot of money, dude. Yeah. And some of these deposits are even higher than that. Yeah. Imagine on the luxury side, you know what I'm saying? I'm talking about the multi-million-dollar homes that are like being built, like $4 million homes. And with these $4 million homes, you're just not only putting 10 grand, we're talking about hundreds of thousands of dollars. Yeah. But what's strange is that on the high-end side, people are buying like crazy. Mm-hmm. Like, I don't know what is going on.
I think people in that class, they can either borrow against their assets. Yeah. They can move their money around. They have a little bit more maybe flexibility. Yeah. So I don't think we're really going to see. Obviously, we're probably going to see a pullback or homes sit on the market for a little bit longer in the luxury side. But I think it's still going to move. Now,
Dan, let me ask you this, because the rates are pretty high at this point, right? What would you say the highest rate have you seen so far in today's market?
6.5%.
Okay, so at 6.5%. Right, on a 30-year. Mm-hmm. Are you starting to see right now where loan applications are starting to make that switch into like ARMs? And matter of fact, explain what an ARM rate is.
It's an adjustable rate mortgage. Okay. It's tied to an index.
Okay, so how does that work?
So every time the index, so after the period of it being, say it's a 5-1, that 5 years will be it'll stay whatever that rate is, and then it starts to adjust every year after. And they got caps. I don't think that the ARM is the savior.
Well, it's not the savior, but my question to you is that, are you seeing more buyers going that direction?
I think it's now on the table.
Because I
don't necessarily think they're going that direction. They're just looking at options. people have to justify why they're getting a house today.
Yeah.
And is it the rates? Obviously, that's the big part of why everybody's not doing something. I mean, we have people that are looking to save dollars. It could be, very minimal. Whatever it is, dude. It's like, hey, I got this payment. It's got to be here. It's got to be this. The reality is people are just shell shocked on what's happening with the rates and where they're at in the position of, I guess, where the rate, where the loans and everything has been. So,
yeah,
I don't know, man. For me, I just look at it and say, some people just think it's just not a good time to buy, and it's because of rates, because of whatever. And then some people say it is. And I think if you look at the ARM situation, there's not too many people that are saving anything. And sometimes it doesn't even price out.
Yeah. So
now it's a decision. Do I still want to move forward? Right. Because sometimes people are like, well, do an ARM and maybe I'll get that rate and my payment won't be as bad. Well, sometimes, most often it prices out the same or close to it.
Does it really?
In a lot of cases.
I figured that you could possibly do an ARM. So that way you have a lower rate today. And then from there, you just kind of watch the market. If a 30-year, right, drops back down to, let's say, 3%, then you would just refinance.
It's about the appetite of the investor.
Yeah.
Because somebody's got to buy those bonds, right?
Yeah.
Somebody's got to buy those rates. If you don't have anybody that wants to buy those, they're a high risk at that time, or let's say that there's an appetite with the investor field for those, then yeah, there's a different story. But it really comes down to markets. It comes down to payments. People think, half a point's going to make a huge difference.
It doesn't.
It doesn't, man.
Yeah.
Now, if you're at $1 million,
yeah,
$1.5 million, okay, we can talk. But you're at a $400,000 or $500,000 difference. It's like $100.
Yeah. So you're not seeing buyers making that adjustment to the ARMs. Is that correct?
I think like I said, it's on the table.
I mean, are you seeing it with your company? That's what I'm saying here.
No, I don't see a huge influx of ARMs going on.
Now, what about a 15-year? Because on a 15-year, right, you'll get a lower interest rate, but your payment's going to be higher because you're paying it off faster. Are you seeing that as well, or no?
People don't want that payment.
Okay.
You got to think, man. That's a double. So if the normal payment, let's say it's $3,000, you do a 15-year, it's now $6,000.
Yeah. But your interest rate is a lot lower.
But it's a lot less, but now you're obligated to that, right? And so why not just say, hey, I'm going to do a 30 and pay if I can pay extra at that month? So for me, it's on the table, but I don't see people saying, yeah, I'm going to do it. They just consistently do the 30-year. They want to control spike in rates. You know how it goes.
Yeah.
I mean, when the rates go up, people are scared and they're going to just try to do whatever they can to minimize the problems. And I see payments $200 or $300 difference, and people are really worried.
Yeah,
they're taking all the inflation and stuff.
I think where we really see the struggle with this is if you take a look at our local market, right? We know that the average household income is about $60,000 and less. So if we take a look at this, because this is majority of our income, right? How much can somebody actually qualify for if you're making $60,000 a year with no debt? Roughly, Dan, just throw a number out there.
I mean, no debt, that's like a $350,000 purchase.
That's it?
That's it.
And you know what? I'm going to say probably like 5 years ago, man, $350,000 for a home out here in Las Vegas, that was a lot of money.
Yeah.
Okay? So, I mean, think about it. Let's say at $350,000. I mean, let's say I don't have my mortgage calculator. Do you have a mortgage calculator on you?
Yeah.
All right. So let's just do this, right? 300.
Actually, do I?
Yeah. From do you have one from like Zillow or something that you can punch in the numbers?
I will say something about the ARM.
Yeah. Go ahead.
That it has a bigger impact on jumbo loans because they do price out better. It's more of a freelance, and then also it's that payment shock, especially in today's market.
Yeah.
I did lock in. Joey and I had a client we closed on. He did an ARM.
Yeah.
I introduced it to another client that I have that's a jumbo. So it does make sense because sometimes these people are like, hey, man, I'm only going to be in the house for 7-8 years. Yeah. They do a 10-1 ARM. Might make sense. Your rate's better.
Correct.
So then that's when I think you do it on those jumbo. But, I mean, as far as a conventional loan.
Doesn't price out.
Doesn't price out.
So I want to go back here. So you're saying that around $60,000 with no debt, you're probably approved for about $350,000. Last time I checked was last week. When we had a team meeting, the median price point for a home was $495,000. I mean, that's just like breaking in just breaking in, right? Entry level at this point. But at $350,000, you don't really get much at $350,000. Now you can get like a condo or a townhome, and that's pretty much it. However, we're going to take a look at the data today. We're going to see exactly what is going on with the marketplace, because I've noticed there's been quite some price reductions. Have you guys seen that in the marketplace?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but it's only in certain pockets.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not, it's not across the Las Vegas Valley.
Well,
everybody thinks it's just everybody's putting their house on, discounted. That's not happening.
And you're absolutely right, because when it comes to real estate, it really breaks down into like local areas, like neighborhoods, zip codes, and you can literally have a community that is really like popping off. You know what I'm saying? It's a case-by-case basis, but we'll take a look at that today. So what else are challenges, or what are you seeing in the market right now, Joey?
I think that's just it. I think it's just really like keeping up with the interest rates and payments, because it's been such a quick moving target over the past 30 days, and really just educating our clients, because a lot of people, they think they have the luxury to wait, which, we've been spoiled over the past couple of years because the interest rates have been so low. And if they were at 2.99 and then they went down to 2.87 and then they went to 3 and 1.25 or something, it's like not that big of a difference because it's still low, right? So I think a lot of people had that misconception of like, hey, look, you know what? Maybe I'm just going to wait, I'm going to see what this market does. I'm going to see what's going to happen. Now we're in a position to where like, oh my God, I should have listened to you.
Yeah,
we should have done this a lot sooner, because now you're like you said, 350,000. We had a client that was in contract for 389,000, and what her budget was when we first got her pre-approved like 5 months ago. That was her idea, and now she's in a position to where that's like so far out of reach. So now we're looking at houses that are 250, 300,000.
Oh wow!
And now it's like you're looking at a completely different product.
What was the driving force behind that though? Payment.
It was payment, right?
Yeah.
So payment conscious, right? So
everybody now it's now okay. Making, and here's the other thing: I'm making certain amount of money. Inflation costs we're up 11%. Food costs year over year.
Yeah,
40-year high. All this stuff that people are taking into consideration. You got insurance. That's people have to worry about, especially when they come here. All these costs, it's like, okay, that $100 or $200 really makes a difference now. Mm-hmm. And I understand, but before that wasn't even a decision. Like, oh, okay, my payment's different, $100, cool, let's do it. Now, if it's like, wow, I got a certain number that I can't go over, and if I go over it, I'm out of here.
Yeah.
So what you're saying?
Yeah, that extra $100 or $200 is like being absorbed by gas.
I'm telling you, everybody. Yeah. Everybody's cautious right now of what their expenses are. Yeah. How much do I want to put for this gas, food, just living? And
I'm all over this town. As you know, I'm ping ponging like in every corner of this valley, and I'm up to like $300 a week in gas.
Is it that bad?
Yeah, dude. I'm driving that big old Yukon.
Oh yeah,
dude, I can't wait to get rid of that thing.
That's $1,000 a month,
dude, and just in gas.
So imagine if you had a car payment. Mm-hmm. Now the insurance on it, wear and tear.
Yeah,
it's costing you $2,000 to ride that car around.
Yeah, I know.
Is that worth it to have a car now today? $2,000.
I would fly, but
I would just get an electronic bike and get a two-seater. And have them sit in the back.
Just get a Segway.
Yeah, and you
like your story.
Just take them from house to house.
I want to get into some comments here. Johnny Cole says this: can I actually buy a nice home in Las Vegas without overbidding and waiving all contingencies?
Why would you want to waive all contingencies?
No. Without waiving.
Without, yeah. I think now is the time that you can do that, right? So because now we're having the inventory, there's less competition. Mm-hmm. As you mentioned before, some of the houses that are priced really well in the nicer areas, they might have a few bids on them, but it's not like it was just a few weeks ago, it seems.
Well, but you got to think, if the house is turnkey, you're still going to have those multiple offers, and you may have to say, hey, I'm going to waive the appraisal contingency down to a 5,000. You're not going to give them like, okay, we're just going to meet it, but maybe you write in the contract like slightly come in less. That way it's kind of protecting them a little bit too. But you don't want to give away everything in the kitchen sink, right? You just want to, what is that positioning part? That's where the negotiation comes in for you guys.
Exactly. Because, but to answer his question, I don't think that from my experience, just being out there, just in the past couple weeks, I haven't seen that level of competition of like that frenzy.
Yeah, because about 8 weeks ago, you would have to waive the appraisal, right, and waive some contingencies. Now, you don't have to waive those. But now the next question is, what about contingents upon a sale of your home? Because that's one of the challenges that some of my clients were having as far as, living in California, for an example, and they wanted to buy out here, but their money was tied up, but they needed that money to get financed, right, for down payment. Now, my question to you is that, do you see that now happening where the seller will accept an offer contingent upon another home being sold?
So, again, this is case by case.
Yeah.
But Zach, one of our agents, just got one accepted.
Oh, wow.
Yep.
Oh, matter of fact, I think that was today, right?
That was today.
So you know what that means? We got to do oh, there you go. Good job, Zach. You are the man.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, but what was that price point?
What was it at? That was at 600-ish and change.
So I think if you're at that 400 to 600, right? I think people, they'll do it, but there's more offers. I think the market's softening, and that you get to that upper tier. There's not as many offers.
Well, I also think like the sellers on the selling side, right? They no longer have the leverage like they used to. And I'm talking about, submit your highest and best, waive everything off. Now it's like they got to play ball.
Yeah.
So it's almost starting to become an even keel, right? But also if you have that, unicorn property, and there's always that unicorn property, you guys know what I'm talking about, where you can never get the exact same property like that again. May have a beautiful view, may have something that no other home has, right? Those will still get top dollar.
Yeah. Yeah.
But matter of fact, I had a offer submitted for 2.3. Freaking lost this deal. And my client was willing to pay $100,000 over the appraised value, right? Appraisal came back, was at 1.9. We were willing to give him $2 million, $100,000 over, because again, it was a unicorn property. But the seller wanted $2.2 million for the deal, right? But it wasn't worth $2.2 million. But between me and the listing agent, we had a compromise as far as, hey, you know what? We're going to cancel out of the deal. If you're willing to drop the price, because I already know the way that this market is going, right? Mm-hmm. It's like, dude, as rates go up, dude, you're going to have a hard time finding a buyer.
Sure.
So we shook hands, and basically we're going to go off on our way. But it may be a time where they may come back and say, hey, look, man, we'll accept your offer. Let's renegotiate.
Yeah, because right now, having someone come in $100,000 above appraised value, like, no way.
Yeah, exactly.
So that was the seller's mistake.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So here's the thing. I just play cool, like, okay, whatever's, but look, you're missing this opportunity.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, we can literally get this thing closed within a couple of days. But no, I would never let my client, they came back at $2.2 million. I was like, nah, you know what? I would never let my client pay $300,000 over a property. Yeah, maybe $100,000 at that point if you really like it and it's a unicorn property. Yes, it makes sense. But again, it's case by case basis. But the way that the market is going, man, I was like, dude, if you guys don't accept this offer, you're not going to sell this home, dude.
Yeah.
But you know what? They were willing to put it back on the market and gamble. But
roll the dice.
I know you got to roll the dice. I mean,
so look at it this way too. How many appraisals were done on this house?
2 appraisals.
Right. So
matter of fact, Dan was a part of this transaction too as well. We had an appraisal at 1.9 and another appraisal at 2.1, which is, it's so freaking baffling how you get 2 appraisals, and an appraisal is based upon one's opinion, and the investors always take the lower appraisal. But it's just like, dude, how do you have such a big swing? That's a $300,000 difference, right? Yeah. No, $200,000 difference.
Well, I can say this. One is it's overpriced.
Yeah.
Okay. If you have 2 people that are different appraisers, regardless.
Yeah.
I can agree with the separation of 1.9 to 2.1.
And just even it out to $2 million.
So we get that. Now, you're always going to have somebody that comes in conservative. They did that. Mm-hmm. The problem is that when you have 2 appraisers and it still came in low, it's still low. It's still, what that tells me on the selling position is, okay, we've really overlisted this house because you can't have 2 appraisers come in and they both come in low. And it's not just slightly low, significantly low.
Yeah.
So, okay, let's say the 1.9 came in 400 less. Probably a little conservative. Why? Well, we all know that when you see market changes, appraisers adjust with the market too. It's based upon one's opinion.
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay? They're going to adjust too. So now they're going to be a little bit, okay, wait a second. I can't get away with appreciation like we've saw over the last 2 years. We don't see it that now. We're not seeing it that way. So now maybe they're looking at it going, that's another indicator with an appraiser is as you see appraisals come in, even though we had one on another deal come in above list, I've seen other than these deals, some of them come in slightly less. Some of them come in 10,000 less because I think appraisers are starting to say, oh, the market's shifting. We got to make an adjustment. And I'm not going to be the guy or the girl that's going to be, I'm 20 or 30,000, giving that extra value and putting their name out there. So it's easy to make the adjustment as the markets make the adjustment. That's how I feel about it. I mean, they still got to go with off of what's been sold, but you can't justify why somebody came in at 1.9 and one came in at 2.1. That's a huge separation. It's not like 50,000. That's $200,000.
Yeah.
So I think you're going to start seeing that more and more. But what it does tell me is that the house was overpriced.
Yeah.
Regardless of how you look at it.
Now I want to get into the market, show you guys exactly what's going on here. We're going to jump on the MLS real quick, and we're going to pull some data. So real quick, as of today, we have, and this includes single-family residents, detached homes, condos, townhomes, and high-rises and everything. So basically everything that's on the MLS. We have a total of 5,389 homes currently available. And believe it or not, price reductions within the past 7 days, 20% of the market. 20%. I mean, that's pretty high. Wouldn't you guys agree? Price reduction?
25% price reductions on the overall market?
No, 20%.
Oh, 20%.
So, I mean, people are now starting to do a dramatic price reduction. Now, the good news is that people that have to sell, right, you better make sure you price your home correctly and aggressively.
Yeah.
Because if not, it's going to be sitting on the market and it's going to be a little bit stagnant, right?
Yeah.
Well,
however, if you're a buyer and you run across that situation, and we literally just did a deal like this where there was a home in Tuscany, right? And the average home in there was going for about $530,000. And we went out and we looked at a bunch of homes, right? Me and a client. I'm going to give a shout out to Jeffrey and Marianne because they told me that they wanted me to give them a shout out. So I'll give you a quick shout out. These two clients, they are such a character. I should have brought the GoPro, but anyway, we were looking at homes around the 530 range, right? So we found this property, literally just did a $30,000 price reduction. That tells me that the owner of the property, that he knows what's going on. So they did a dramatic price reduction, $500,000. We picked it up at $500,000, but we just got it appraised today at $510,000. So they're going into an equity position.
Nice.
So what I'm saying is that in today's market, that shift, I'm starting to see that shift. There's an opportunity here for buyers.
Oh, it's turning. Do you feel like it's going to be a buyer's market soon?
That's how I feel.
Yeah, it's transitioning.
Yeah.
Right now.
I think in the next 9 months we're there.
Yeah.
Complete buyer's market.
And everything that we're talking about today, as far as the Fed's funds, the Fed's raising the rates and all that stuff, we don't really feel the impact until another 6 or 9 months down the line.
Well, I think the blend is it's not just the rates, it's not just the payment, it's life.
Well, yeah, of course.
Life is costly right now. If the inflation gets in check and we come down, that 5.5%, 5%, 6% rate, yeah, it's not good on paper. Maybe it's a little bit easier to deal with, though.
Yeah.
And I think that's where people are waiting. They're like, okay, you can't hit us all with everything at one time in a short window of time. Like, you go back to last year in the July. I was looking at it. Last year in July was like 2.75 rates.
Yeah.
You fast forward today, we're at 5.5, 6. Like, that's double.
I know.
And then you look at the inflation, right? Gas. I mean, you can't sit there and be like, well, this is an easy decision. I'm just going to go ahead and take the higher rate because I can survive with the, double pay, double the amount of what.
No, it's everything together.
It's everything.
It's everything.
Everybody's just getting peppered with all different things. Like, dude, I can't do it. Man, that $200, that's going to make me or break me.
Yep.
All right, so if we take a look at this right now, for detached single-family residents, there's 42 or 4,292 properties, right? The average sold right now is 485,000. Last week was 495,000. So we dropped $10,000. But if you still take a look here, the average days on the market right now is 8 days. I mean, this is still a hot market right here. The demand is still here, right? You get roughly about almost 1,900 square feet, 3 bedrooms, 3 bathrooms. So, I mean, market is still moving. The good news here is if you are a buyer, you can kind of pick and choose your home now.
Yeah.
More
opportunity.
The shitty thing is you're spending more on gas.
To try to find those properties.
Yeah, exactly. For you.
and people are saying this, they're saying like, I've had people say, oh, well, equity position and being, financially stable. People are financially stable. You got to think that people are getting paid not doing anything for a year. Had a chance to save money. I think a lot of people did. Now they have a lot of equity, the most ever. We had another record year, first quarter of equity. So people are really financial rich inside their home. So I think people have confidence in still going out and buying. The other thing you have to look at is we still have shortage of homes. Mm-hmm. So people are going to still go out. Doesn't matter. I understand it might not make sense for somebody living here, but they're going to still go out. They're going to buy homes just because the economy's slowed down.
Yeah.
And inflation is staying where it's at, and they're trying to tame this. There's still a demand to buy homes because there's such a shortage of homes out there still.
Sure.
And I think buyers that were in the market, that have been in the market on the sidelines, like you say, they have that shot now. You can make an argument that it might be, rates are higher, which is not a good thing, but then you have less people and less competition amongst each other. So maybe that is a shot. Maybe you just have to deal with the fact it's not like, hey, you know what, it's an exciting thing. Nobody wants to pay a higher payment, but at least now you have a legitimate shot at getting the house you want versus taking on a house that you're like, I just need it. It's in a good location. No upgrades are in it. It's a tarnished home. It's not really in good shape, and you're maybe settling. Now you don't have to settle.
Sure.
That's what I think's happening.
Yeah, I think it's gonna relieve a lot of stress for the buyers.
Yeah,
right? It's gonna be like a more enjoyable process.
Exactly.
Because like leading up to this point, man, I felt stressed for my clients. I mean, we're submitting multiple offers, 20,000, just like throwing crazy numbers out there and not even getting the properties. It's like, what do you have to do to win? Which we did a lot. Like, I mean, obviously you do something enough, you're going to come out on top, but it's just one of those things where now I think the transition is going to be a lot easier.
More on the buying side.
Yeah.
You got to pick your poison.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, look, everybody always brings up like in these comments and stuff, oh, who are you to say that it's a good time to get a rate or buy? Or it's like, look, we're not saying, or anybody's not saying like, hey, this is the greatest time to buy. We're
Figure
just
it out
saying,
for yourself. It's based on your situation.
But also you got to pick your battles, right?
Yeah.
It's not always going to be perfect. You're not going to have 2.5 rates all the time. You're not going to have record low homes at $80,000, $100,000 like we did when the crash happened. It's just, look, do you need a house? If you need a house, then you got to have to deal with some of the things. Doesn't mean we agree with it. Doesn't mean I'm like, hey, dude, this is the best or whoever it is. It's just sometimes it's like, well, you got to accept what life is giving you or don't accept it, But if you want to buy a house, and for the most part, it's been a good place for people to store money or, the average middle-class person to gain wealth, then you have to sometimes make that plunge.
Let me get to a couple comments here. Some of these positive comments. Lewis says, hi, Joey. Love your videos. And Dan, now you guys got to work for your money. I guess we got to work for our money now.
I guess I wasn't working for my money before a while. I hate to see what this looks like.
Here's another one. I'm ready to sell. Hey, Joey, what's up? Romel. Do we know a Romel?
What up, Romel?
Yeah, give us a call. We'll hook you up. So it looks like Romel wants to sell. Another comment here. All you need is to take some economics classes, you big dummies. Oh, okay. Somebody says 8.6%. I bet they paying now. Okay, let's see another one here. How high will the 30-year rate go now? After How high will the rates go now after 75 basis points? So I guess somebody's asking, what is the interest rates going to be for a 30-year?
I don't know. I mean, that's a question that's not really directed towards mortgage rates.
Yeah.
I mean, it could have an impact, but that has no impact on short-term bonds. So.
Okay, it doesn't impact it in a way, and here's how. Because on the short-term bonds, right, you can't go out and get credit cards. Now you can't spend money if you don't have money to spend, right? Things start to retract. Obviously, you can't buy a home. The reason why you can't buy a home because you don't have free money.
Yeah, but what moves rates is completely different.
I understand that. I understand that. But what I'm saying is, you know, food costs, all this cost will affect of what I can purchase. I understand that has nothing to do with it. But at the end of the day, what affects it is if I'm only making $4,000 a month and I'm paying for all these other fees, I'm not going to be able to buy a home because I don't have that discretionary income to go get a loan. Do you see what I'm saying? But I mean, rates at 6%, I mean, a lot of people think that's a high rate. I remember when I locked in, it was like at 5.2 on my first home. I thought it was a shit.
I just bring them in and say, sign here, here, and here. That's what I do.
Okay, well, that's...
Here, here, and here?
Yeah, here, here, and here. Don't even look at the numbers. Just in and out, baby.
So another comment says that we went from a $500,000 lot premium to 7% rate on a 30-year fix. Wow, that's pretty high.
7% recently?
That's what they're saying. Builders are just going to push their inventory that closes now. Once they do, it's going to tighten up back. I don't know what that is. Not just in Vegas or Georgia and Florida too. Easy 9% on a 30-year rate. I don't know. I mean, it could go back up to 9%.
That would be detrimental.
You think so?
Oh my God.
Why don't we just put the brakes on everything now and just get it all handled?
Well, they are.
Yeah.
Hey, you know what's funny? 6 months from now, we'll have a whole different show. This ain't no real estate show. This is like some other show.
This would be like a salon show.
Yeah,
bring some women in and everybody be hanging out. Hey, so how do you get your nails done? What is the process?
I mean, 7%. I mean, 6%, 6.5%, 6%. I mean, that's obviously changed the market, right? Changed the buyer, changed everything, right?
All right.
Over and overnight.
All right, let's figure this thing out. So the median price point for a home today is at $485. Now, guys, keep in mind, I'm not a lender. However, you guys can go to Zillow app and punch in the numbers. So if I do $485, okay. And what's the typical buyer put down? And what are they doing? 3%, 5%? What are you seeing, Dan? The common person out there. 5%? Yeah. All right, I'm going to do it 5%. Okay. And what are you seeing with the rates right now?
Depends.
Give me a high one.
High one. Ooh, 6.5.
Dang, 6. You giving out 6.5?
I would push 7 if they'd take it.
Dude, you ripping people off, man. You got to stop that, Dan. I'm not going to send no more people.
Can I get a 7.5?
With 6 points up front.
Yeah.
with a $10,000 origination fee.
So
don't look at that, though. Sign here, here, and here.
Now, you said 6.5, right? Now, on the lowest side you've ever seen, what was the lowest loan that you gave out, the interest rate? What was the lowest at one point?
The lowest rate?
Yeah, at one point.
2.4.
2.4? Dang, you didn't even hooking me up, dude.
You got to be on VIP list, though.
Got it. So let's just say I do 2.4 with your payments at $485,000. Today's market is $2,034. Now we're gonna have some fun. Let's say if I go up by another, matter of fact, I'm gonna write this down. So we're at 2.4. That gives me about $2,034 a month. So if I went up one more point, right? I'm gonna go up to 3.5. Let's see where we're at. Roughly about 3.5. Check this out. What do you think the payment is going to be?
How much? What is the purchase price?
You went up 3.5%.
So I went from, so the purchase price is at $485,000, today's market. Okay. If we had a locked in rate at 2.4, couple years ago or whatever it was, 6 months ago, the payment would have been $2,034. If I raise it by 1% at 3.5%, let's just say, I'll just tell you guys this anyway. I want you to guess how much your payment went up more just by 1 point.
1 point? Yeah, like $2,300.
Oh, what about you?
I'm not sure what you're asking.
Because you're not paying attention. You're right. It's $2,300. Good job.
Thank you.
Look at this. Boom. You get a clap. All right.
Are you saying the difference between the rate?
Yeah. Catch up. He finally caught up.
Welcome to the show, Dan.
Now we're going to go up to 4.5%. Okay? Because this is real. This is real here. So we went up to 4.5%. Your payment now is $25.78. Damn, that's getting high. Now, if we went
so the
up,
question is this: what is the difference in payment from 3.5 to 4.5? Because that's what I would look at.
well, we already had this conversation.
No, like the number, like dollars, like $100. It's not $2,300 difference.
No, it's bringing it up to $2,300.
Right. So what I'm asking you is, what is the difference from that payment?
Hey, catch him up, man. Please pick up your boy.
What was the? It was 2,000.
It was 2,000. Now it's 2,300.
$2,300, so $300.
Yeah. So now at 4.5, now you're at 25.78.
So out of all that, you went up $500. That's a full 1.5 difference, almost, right? Point difference.
No, if you went up 2 points, it's $500.
There's the difference, and that's why I was trying to sit, and that's what I was trying to get. That's 2 points, and you're saying it's $500. So that means it would only make sense, like really. I mean, 1 point makes a huge difference, but I think people get fixated on rate so much, it's crazy. Like,
well,
an eighth of a point is really what on that price point, $30.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'm not saying it's bad, but it's like, oh wow, you got a better rate here. Like, okay, cool. I mean, the thing is
well, $300 price difference is a pretty big gap. I mean, that's a car payment, bro. I mean, let's be real.
But that's what, a half a point?
No, that's with 1 point. We're not doing half a point.
Exactly. So what I'm saying is that it would take a huge swing for you to really save a lot of money. I'm not saying not to do it.
Yes, but my point here is the swing is here.
Sure. That's my argument.
The swing is here.
So that's why I was asking that question.
So now if we take a look at 5.5%, that's at $2,860. So that's about almost a $900 difference, okay? Now, on the high side, rates at 6.5%, $3,156. So basically, rates today at 6.5%, and you could have bought a couple years ago or 12 months ago, whatever it was, right? Big difference. That's $1,200, dude. You could have saved. Imagine all that purchasing power you're just losing.
Yep.
So well, you still could buy a home. It's just unfortunately your home is a lot smaller in today's market.
And the thing is again, it doesn't mean it's the most ideal situation at all. We're not saying this is good for anybody. So I want to make sure everybody understands that. But when you compound that with higher costs and inflation and gas, and it's not just the $1,200. Now it's like, dude, what is my overhead for my family?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Having a 2-income family will not make it anymore if you buy a house that's new with this increase in payment with the inflation going on. Now you see why people are sitting on the sidelines. The ones that are buying are equity rich, selling, putting a large down, and still can afford all that with all the things and changes that's happening. If you're here, you're selling your house and you're trying to move up, you're not really putting a lot down, you're just trying to move up, you're staying put. Mm-hmm. There's nowhere for you to go.
Yeah.
And that's the problem.
Now, another thing that I'm seeing in the marketplace, I'm having my clients that had purchased a home with me a couple years ago. They are now repositioning. They're literally selling their primary residence, and what they're doing is they're renting a home. Because
really?
Because if you look at the rental market, I noticed the rental market, that has also kind of increased too as well.
Oh yeah, tremendously.
Yeah, it's crazy. So I don't know what's going on. It's like everybody's now is kind of like repositioning.
Yeah, but it's got to make sense though.
Yeah,
too,
no,
right?
it's a case by case. I'm just telling you what I see.
So they're cashing out their equity.
Yeah, and just gonna rent. They're gonna sit on cash.
They're gonna rent for a year, 2 years, maybe.
And I'm doing the same thing. I've taken a look at my portfolio. I've already got a couple properties on the market. So if you guys are a rehabber, I got one right now for $285. After repair value is $325.
I'll give you $300.
Nah. Why would you give me $300 when it's listed at $285?
I don't know. I want to get a house. I think
we're not in that market anymore.
If I undercut you, I mean, you just tell me no. So if I said $265, you said go walk somewhere.
Yeah. Now another thing is that I did a video on my 2.0 channel, and I broke it down of what I'm going to be making off this deal and the reason why I'm going to sell it. And I explained to you guys in this video, as far as having a real estate portfolio, why it's important to look at your real estate portfolio and reposition. And when you reposition, you got to look at the marketplace. So I break all that down so that way you'll know exactly why I am making this shift in today's market. Now I want to get into some townhomes here because townhomes are important, right? So let's take a look at the data here. Give me a second here. We're going to go all. What's going on here? Here we go. So it looks like the closings for a townhome is 340,000. Average days on the market today is 11 days. You get roughly about a 1,300 square foot home, which is still not bad. However, $350,000 for a townhome is pretty pricey. Wouldn't you guys agree?
Yeah.
350,000
for a townhome?
Yeah, for a townhome.
I remember the days when it was like 150.
Dude, 175. Bro, you could buy a house for 150. Those days are gone.
350.
350. And typically those townhomes are located on like the outskirts of Henderson.
Yeah.
And there's little pockets of Spring Valley.
Mm-hmm.
It's crazy.
But again, a lot of people can't afford to purchase a single family residence. And the ones that they can, there's really nothing really meets their criteria.
Yeah. It's either the townhome or you're going into a condo.
Yeah.
That's it.
I mean, I think it's just everybody's gonna have to go do the $15,000 Tesla house.
Oh, one of those small little homes.
What's that one it's called? Was it Boxable or
Boxable?
Boxable.
Yeah. Everybody's gonna have to pop it up. Yeah. Pop a box.
Matter of fact, I'm doing
stack them.
Well,
you want a 2-story? Yeah. How about a 3-story? We'll do a rooftop deck.
Well, that's what they're doing now. Matter of fact, we're doing a collaboration with a company that it's kind of like Boxable, but what they're doing is they're taking shipping containers.
Yeah.
And basically they are configuring like for like a full house, which is kind of cool. So we have a meeting with them. I think next week we're doing a collaboration.
Are they doing them here in Las Vegas?
Yeah, they're doing them here in Las Vegas, which is kind of cool.
They're doing shipping containers converted into a house.
Yeah, so you can buy a shipping container for like $5,000. I think it's like a 40-foot container. And they'll add a bathroom, bedroom. So I think that's kind of cool. But I mean, I don't know if I could live in a tight space like that.
Oh, man. Yeah, how wide are those things? 10 feet? 11 feet?
I don't know. But I mean,
not even, maybe.
It's probably going to be as wide as this room, I'm thinking. I mean, you've seen them on the back of the truck.
Yeah. So basically it would be like, I'm in the living room. Joey's in the kitchen.
Yeah.
You're going to be in the bathroom.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
That's it. Have a good night.
Now, I want to also get into condos. Condos right now are selling for $248,950. Average days on the market, 8 days. What do you get? Roughly about almost 1,100 square feet, 2 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms. The good news is that, actually, this is the bad news, because my condo, I should have sold that thing. I was thinking about selling it, but I just purchased another one. And I noticed in my little neighborhood, freaking they dropping the prices. I'm like, what the hell?
Oh, you better cash out.
Was that the one on Rochelle?
Nah, this is another one off of Tropicana. I literally bought this one to flip, and I thought this was going to be a good one. I'm not saying that I'm going to lose money. I think I'm going to end up breaking even and doing all the work for nothing. So hopefully I'll make something.
You can't rent it?
Oh, I can rent it, but
let me say this.
I want to pull my money back out.
Like, people think there's really options for flipping.
I mean, there is, but you better do a calculated risk in today's market.
You got all these iBuying companies.
Yeah.
Buying these houses.
Yeah.
We all know what's going on. I don't see how they're making a profit in a market like this with the houses that they've bought. They're just holding on to them. And it's like, okay, are they really making a profit at this point? I don't know. Like,
yeah,
I don't hear about
the profits are super tight. But if going back to flipping, like, if you're looking, you have to have cash on hand. Like, you have to be buying these houses cash.
Yeah.
Because if you're doing something like hard money, you are getting smoked.
The only way to do it from hard money in a second lender on this deal is basically you're gonna have to buy it very low. Like, I had one of my buddies. He's a flipper, right? This is what he does for a living. I called him up. I was like, "Yo, bro, I got this property. You want to buy it?" He's like, "Yeah, let me take a look at it." He's like, "Yeah, I like it." I was like, "All right, put in an offer." He's like, "I give you 240." I was like, 240? Crazy. And what he said makes sense. He says, "Hey, Chuck, you know what's going on with the market? As rates are going up, right? People are getting kind of like slow, pulling the trigger. He's got carrying costs.
Yeah.
So he has to take that into the equation. And also, he's got another property that's not even moving, bro. Like, this rehab that he did looks beautiful, but it's not moving. Also, what I've noticed is that these luxury flippers now, right? A lot of them are my friends, but I've been looking on the MLS. price reduction, price reduction,
Yeah.
price reduction. I'm like, dude,
this is not the time to do it, I feel. Yeah. You know, I got people that I know.
It's too unstable.
Exactly. Well, it's just
because I feel like it's starting to decline slowly. It's starting to taper off.
People's mindset are unrealistic.
Yeah.
You know, when you bought a house, maybe you've had it for a few months.
Mm-hmm.
That house isn't what you thought it was going to be because we're starting to see this softening market. So that's what I asked
like looking at these properties, like when you look at an investment property, if you're looking in the neighborhood and the houses are selling for, let's just use 300,000 as a round number, you need to buy that deal like at 220.
Yeah.
Right, because you got your rehab costs. If you're doing hard money, you have your 9% or 10% points that you're paying each month on that. All your carrying costs, your rehab costs. So, I mean, if you're not buying it at 220, now you have these flippers. I have people, the wholesalers, that are sending me opportunities like every day, and I'm like, dude,
that's not an opportunity.
It's laughable, right?
Yeah.
They're sending it over with like 30 grand, you know, of play there, and I'm like, how is that a deal?
I know. And you got carrying costs, you got to sell it. Also, the funny part is when you have these wholesalers, they send you over a property and it's off the MLS.
It's on the MLS. I'm like,
bro, this is not a deal. That's like the first sign. It's not a deal, bro.
Yeah.
It's crazy. However, I have bought a property off the MLS, so I'm not going to lie. So, I mean, there are deals to have you know, on the MLS. It's just you got to dig through them.
Yeah, it's like a needle in the haystack.
Yeah.
In this market, it's tough. But I mean, most people are buying with the foresight of like, look, this market is increasing.
Mm-hmm.
So by the time I rehab it and I sell it, I'm gonna set a record in the neighborhood.
Yeah,
that's what the mindset is.
The other thing is I notice is the sellers that I have, they're actually very motivated on selling. But the downside is that there's a company out there they're like nationwide. What they do is they buy the properties and they rent it out. Mm-hmm. Which is, if they're doing that in today's market, that means they must know something that I don't know, right? But they are literally buying this property all cash as is for, just say like I think it was like $5,000 below the asking price, and my seller literally just jumped on it right away because now it's like becoming a panic sale. And what's crazy, I'm like, dude, you're gonna get beat up on the home inspection report because I worked with this company before. I know how this thing works. Because I do it myself, you know what I'm saying? I know the game. Yeah. Doesn't care. And the reason why is because he's panic selling. And that's what I guarantee this is what I'm going to start to see. The properties that are on the market today are going to be guys that need to sell.
Yeah.
So there's going to be opportunity, but the problem is that you think that you may have the advantage, but the market is only based upon consumer confidence. And the way that things are going now, I'm not saying that there's a quick decline, but I'm starting to see it starting to trickle down little by little.
Well, that goes back to what I was originally saying, you know, with the home builders.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, there's so much opportunity out there. So, you know, regardless of what interest rates do, you know, we know they're going to go up. I mean, I know people are going to be payment sensitive, which is rightfully so. Mm-hmm. But there's also going to be opportunity that's hitting the market because whether it's price reductions in the resale market or incentives or price reductions on new homes. Mm-hmm. I heard from one of my friends who works for a new home builder that they reduced the base price $40,000.
I've never heard the base price. I heard the lot. I
lost it when I heard that. I was like, you got to be kidding me. He's like, no, we are at closeout. We're trying to move these homes. They are reducing the base price $40,000.
You know what's crazy is I was at a new home track. I'm not going to tell you what builder it is, but it's a builder that their target audience is around the 600 and below, and they're a nationwide company, and they just literally broke ground probably like 2 weeks ago, and they have like over 500 lots right off of Blue Diamond and Rainbow, and this is a company where you would have to do a lottery. You know what company I'm talking about?
Sure.
Here, there is no lottery. They've got lots that are open that nobody's buying. That's got to tell you something.
Yeah.
Like before it was so crazy. It's like you would have to be on a waiting list. You would have to do a drawing. Literally, you can walk in and you say, I want to buy this lot. Like that's the position.
Yeah. That's what I'm actually really excited about this.
Yeah.
Because we are in the trenches every day with our clients trying to find them the best opportunity that fits their budget. and it's tough. It's not easy. It's not an easy job that we do. But I'm just really excited for my clients that are actually able to take a big, deep breath, take some time, find the right property for them, something that they don't have to be slammed into or overbid. They can easily actually have an easy process. You know, nice experience, enjoy the home, feel as if they got a good opportunity, a good deal, and it fits their lifestyle for them and their family.
So what would you say to all the people that are out there that are living paycheck to paycheck, but have a house that they purchased a couple years ago that has a very low interest rate, but they are in such a great equity position? I'm talking about $200,000-$300,000, right? What should they do at this point? Do they just sit on their home?
Yeah.
Or should they sell and reposition? I mean, if you were in that position, I mean, like, what would you do financially? You know what I mean? Because a lot of people are out there right now that have a very low interest rate, but have a lot of equity, but they're living paycheck to paycheck. But, you know, they could just do this one move and reposition and change their life, right? So the question is, do I just stay and hunker down and just keep the mortgage payment? Because I don't think you'll ever again get a rate like at 2.3%. There's just no way.
Well, it depends if the Fed buys into it again.
I don't think so.
If they want to artificially bring the market down, they can. The problem is that the inflation, they can't control that part of it.
But that's why I'm saying I don't think this will ever happen.
Depends, you know. I mean, it just depends on a lot of things. But
so let's just say if this was your situation, you've got $300,000 of equity, right? You're living paycheck to paycheck. You got kids, right? What do you do? Do you just sit and hang tight in today's market? What do you do? What do you do? I want to know what you do.
What I do, I stay put.
You stay put? What about you, Joey?
Yeah, I really have to look at the numbers to see if it would be a lateral move.
Yeah.
If I'm still going to be living paycheck to paycheck, regardless of where I'm at, okay. But if that $300,000 is going to be applied towards the new home, and I'm going to be in the same position, relatively like the same payment, I'm moving.
You're moving?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it just becomes a case-by-case basis.
I mean, you got to
because you could definitely pivot and profit. You know what I'm saying? For sure. And like I said, this is what I'm starting to see with my sellers. They're like, yo, I'm going to sell this thing. I'm going to sit on it. And I think this is probably a good time to do that too as well, right? If it makes sense with your position.
Yeah.
But obviously, you know, I get calls all the time. They're like, you think I should sell or you think I should buy? Well, dude, run the numbers. Let's run the scenarios. How do you run the scenarios? Well, first of all, let's figure out what are your goals. What is it that you want to accomplish? Then from there, we will reverse prospect. Because I get calls like this all the time. And basically, you literally got to break it all down, right? Like right now, I have a client. He's thinking about selling his dad's home, taking that money to go buy another home. But then it's like, why would you put down $100,000, especially what's going on with today's market? Let's just put down 3%, get you the home you want, stack on that cash just in case. Because if shit does hit the fan, you didn't put down $100,000. You only put down,
3%.
3%. It's a lot easier to walk away from 3% versus $100,000. So that's where you got to, work with somebody where, hey, these are your options, right? Yeah. Not trying to tell you what to do, but I want you to really think about these kind of things because you always have to reposition, but you also want to have some dried powder. And what I mean by dried powder is you want to have cash because if this thing does turn, you want to be in a position where you can always pivot and profit, right? And I'm coming to you as an investor. You don't want to have all your eggs in one basket. It's always repositioning. Any thoughts on that, guys?
Yeah, no, I agree with you 100%. You definitely have to have a little cash on the side.
Yeah.
You have to be ready to strike and get those opportunities.
Dan?
That's with everything in the market,
yeah,
right?
I agree.
Whether it's stock market, whether it's whatever.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, you got to have those opportunities. If they come to you, you got to be able to position and pounce on it. So,
well, you said pounce.
Pounce,
pounce, baby, pounce.
Pounce that.
Now, whenever you guys have some free time, what I want you guys to do is visit lvhomeexperts.com. This is actually a good website. Well, actually a great website. We actually built this website just for you guys. That's right. So the properties that you see on today's market, this is basically it shows you everything that's currently available. Okay. Also, another thing is that make sure to check out, oops, not that one. I was going to go to agent roster, but I'm actually logged into my account, so that doesn't account. If you guys are interested in purchasing a home, where you really need to start is reach on out to Dan with Guarantee Rate. Make sure to click that start button here. And this is where you're going to start your application. Go ahead and hit that application button. That's right. Okay. Joey also has a YouTube channel. We're going to plug that in real quick.
Okay.
Yeah. It's like more like HGTV. What's the name of that YouTube channel, Joey?
This is my name.
That's
Joey.
it? Joey?
Joey Andron.
There you go, Joey
there it
Andron.
is.
And my man, Dan French with Guarantee Rate. He also has a radio show. Talk about real estate and financing, what's going on economically here in Las Vegas. I think that show is every Tuesdays and Saturdays, right? What's the time on those, Dan?
6 o'clock Tuesdays, 10 o'clock Saturdays.
All right. That's pretty much it, guys. Hey, I really do appreciate each and every one of you guys from the bottom of my heart. If you guys haven't had a chance to subscribe to the channel, go ahead and click that subscribe button. Also, don't forget to check out our second channel, Chakits 2.0. So if you love everything about real estate, Las Vegas life, check that out. Other than that, until next time, be blessed, folks. Peace.